Nate, all good? Good, yeah. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started with Keito Fafa. Sean, if you have any questions, go ahead and use the raise hand function. Otherwise, we'll start with Caleb in the room.
What did you guys talk about as a team after this game?
I think we were just trying to look for the positives. I think second half response was good again, but that just can't be the case every game. It can't be come out flat, concede goals, and then decide to show up and play. So we kind of just talked about how our mentality has to be better from the first whistle.
Obviously, you were very upset after what ended up being an own goal.
Yes.
And then I saw the team huddle together after that second goal. What did you guys talk about right there in that moment? Obviously, you're in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
Things aren't going your way. What are those conversations like on the field?
I think it's just trying not to get lost in the emotion and finding things that you can fix in the moment. So we talked about, denying the central channel for them. We felt like we were swinging, and then they were just able to come back inside, and it was basically defeating the purpose of swinging at all. So we talked about that. We tweaked that a little bit, felt like it got better, but again, got better after being 2-0 down. So we just got to find ways to execute the game plan from the jump so that we're not in situations where we're emergency defending in our box. And then, unfortunately, I tapped in that goal, and I take responsibility for that. But then, just doing what we can to negate that and prevent that.
The team has struggled offensively recently, just a goal in the last 5 games. Switch things up with KK starting tonight, youngest starter in NWSL history.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What has she brought so far in her rookie season, and what did you see from her in her first start?
Yeah, I think KK has so much potential. It's just getting her in the right positions so she can be successful on the field. I mean, she's a wide player that loves to get in behind, so I feel like we didn't get her in behind the back line enough doing what she's good at. So, just setting up all of our players for success. But, KK has so much potential. I can't wait to see her grow.
You're one of the more experienced players on the team, which is weird because it wasn't that long ago that you were working for the Royals as well.
Yeah, that's true.
But when you see players like KK and some of the younger players, as things kind of start going the way that they've been going, what do you tell them to keep them from kind of spiraling, I guess?
Yeah, I think the NWSL season is long, and we were in this position last year, and we've spoke about, we almost made the playoffs last year, and I think we won one game in 15 or something like that, crazy numbers. So just not to jump ship or think that it's over already in May, it's a long season. We have so many people out right now. We have such a limited roster at the minute. So just doing what we can, focusing on the details and taking it one game at a time, because we can't get in over our head and just drop our heads,
A little bit of that note, do you feel like you can see kind of mini victories from some of these younger players, lights being kind of flickering on and off a little bit, kind of game by game, and kind of learning through some of the adversity they're facing?
Yeah, I think that this season has been a season of growth already, and I think our young players have stepped up and maybe had to play a lot more than they maybe expected to or thought that they would, and I'm really proud of the group for doing that. And then as we can get the pieces back in, the more experienced players, like you saw Amina come on, and you can just see her experience on the field. So if we can get those players surrounded by players with experience as well, I think that that'll only, elevate our game.
If you're on the Zoom and have a question, go ahead and use the raise hand function.
I bet Sean's got something for us.
All right. Thank you, Kate. We'll have Ali Sentnor in here next.
Thanks, guys.
Over the Zoom, go ahead and use the raise hand function. Looks like Caleb got the mic, so we'll start with Caleb.
Hi, Ali.
Hello.
It's been a minute. I guess the team has been struggling offensively, not scoring a lot of goals. Seems like you guys kind of changed things up tonight, bringing KK. Mina comes in as a sub. What kind of things are you guys trying to get back into goal scoring ways?
Yeah, I think we've really emphasized runs in behind this week. I think it's now getting the timing of the runs and the quality of the ball to be combined on the field, but you can see some glimpses of good runs here and there, and I think that will just get better as time goes on. But yeah, we definitely have to continue to work day in and day out on those attacking connections and just getting shots on frame.
And then for you personally, also have not scored this season. How are you handling that, and kind of what things are you working on personally to get into the back of the net as well?
Yeah, I think as an attacker, I am just trying to get as many quality chances on goal myself or setting up teammates as possible, because those will ultimately lead to goals. I think I had an opportunity in the first half I wish I had back, but yeah, just continuing to do that IDP work after practice, and yeah, really just trying to get us into gold zone opportunity chances instead of just half chances here and there.
And as a young player yourself, what have you seen from KK as such a young player coming in and making an impact as a 15-year-old?
Yeah, it's crazy that she's so young. I think that connection is still being built with everyone on the team. I think it's great that she's able to, come and play here. I think there's a lot to build on there.
A little bit on that note, it's no secret. It seems like the injury list gets a little bit longer week after week, and so that's kind of bringing in young players like KK and even some of the other younger kind of college-age players, I guess, up into more and more minutes. What do you say to players like that? There's really only one way to gain experience, and that's to experience things, right? What do you say to them to kind of keep them from spiraling when, losses start adding up like they are right now?
Yeah, I think it's just really taking a deep breath and knowing that everyone has the quality and everyone can produce on the day. It's just taking that deep breath and really connecting that first pass. I always say, even to myself, just connect those first couple passes, and then you really get into your rhythm and you can do things a little more creative. I think it's unfortunate, all the injuries that we've had, and you can really see the quality that's up in the stands, and we're excited to hopefully and slowly get those players back. But yeah, it's sometimes the best way to get experience, like you said, is really to be thrown into the fire. There's no easy way to integrate into this league. I think we always talk about those welcome to the NWSL moments. They're going to happen for everyone, and I think for me personally, the easiest way is to just get those over with and to really just build confidence minute after minute.
That sounds like a lot of words of a leader, and I know you're only in year 2 in your pro career, but have you tried to kind of step up in kind of moments like this as that injury list we're talking about gets a little bit longer, try to maybe be a little bit more of a leader, even though you're still relatively young yourself?
Yeah, I think it's I learn from players like Kate and Mandy every day of kind of those leadership qualities, so I'm grateful to have those people on the field leading the charge right now that I can learn off of. But I'm also a lead by example sort of person, so if I can press the whole game, if I can continue to dig deep in those last few minutes, hopefully that will come off to my other teammates. But yeah, I am a young player. I want to be a leader someday, so just integrating those qualities now, and since I can learn from the people on the national team right now, bringing some of that back into Utah is hopefully helpful.
Go ahead, Sean Moran.
Allie, let's piggyback off of Good Sean's question there for a second. And can you hear me okay, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm curious, while we're talking about you personally, I'm assuming you have you heard Tobin Heath's comment about you on her podcast, the recap show?
Yeah, I was a little bit starstruck all day yesterday, I'm not gonna lie. Tobin is a player that I've looked up to for a very, very long time. One of the reasons I committed to go to North Carolina in the first place, so to have her say those words about me not only gives me confidence in a time where our team isn't doing as well, but just really makes me continue on a fight for my dreams and my goals.
And that's beautifully said, and I could just let you end it there, but I do want to know, do you feel like you have that messy gear? Do you feel like you have messy qualities? Was that a fair comparison in your mind? Is that something you aspire to, is to bring that level to your game?
Yeah, I try my absolute hardest. I will never be messy. I have so much respect for him, and I do watch him all the time, so I do try to emulate some of my game off of him, but I love that players like him, and even watching some of those Champions League games this week, those players that when they get on the ball, you just kind of hold your breath, you know something really great's going to happen. So I want to try to be that player for both my team and for the fans. They deserve to watch and have fun watching. So I want to bring that to the women's game while also contributing to goals and wins for this team.
Last one for me, and I was having audio issues to try and get into this, so if Caleb already asked this, say bump, say pass, and we'll just skip it, but Mina was back out there second half. How did it feel to have Mina back up high on the pitch with you?
Yeah, Mina's a great player, so technical. You could see little sparks of that combination starting to come off in the second half, so hopefully she can get more minutes in the next game, and we can continue building off of that because she's just one of those players that is so savvy, so shifty on the ball, and very unpredictable. So I think it can definitely disrupt back lines, and then just having both of us and even more players like being able to do that is going to be super helpful.
Thanks, Allie.
Yep.
All right, Allie, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have Jimmy in next.
Who's going to win Champions League, Allie?
Barcelona!
All right.
All right, we got head coach Jimmy here. If you have a question for Jimmy over the Zoom, please use the raise hand function. Otherwise, we will start with Caleb in the room.
Yeah, we'll start with the change to the starting lineup, bringing in KK. What was the thinking there, and what do you think of her performance?
Yeah, I think what we noticed with North Carolina is that they played that back three. They had two wing backs being very aggressive, so we knew we could stretch the back line and then get around the block to then eventually get in behind the block. I think a few times we definitely got around the block, but then we're lacking like the in behind actions, which was better in the second half. I think in the second half we had in behind runs. We had someone coming into the ball, so we kind of always had the option, okay, do we want to go through the block or do we actually want to go in behind? And I think that Mina, Ellie link up in the second half really helped us. I think that was a good change there. I think KK just in general, I mean, she's the youngest actually, which is amazing. But like to start a game and to play in the way that she did, I think that's good. I don't really see a lot of individual mistakes. I think from the first minute on, she was actually really threatful. I think the first 12, 13 minutes, she was really in the game. And I think that's what we have to take, and that's something we can build upon.
The goals that have been scored against you have been a little kind of similar over the last couple of weeks with loose balls around the box, giving away kind of those balls around the box. What are you seeing there, and how is your team trying to fix those errors?
Yeah, I think just crosses and clearances. I think those are the two elements that are kind of against us right now. I think if you look at Houston, that was a clearance. If you look today, I think definitely second goal was a clearance. First goal was a cross. So I mean, that's definitely what's going on. But it kind of starts up front on the pitch, and like if you want to press, you have to make sure every single element of the press is good. Otherwise, you get into situations that we're getting. So I think it's not necessarily that we're not defending well. It's just like up top and like very high up on the pitch, we're not 100% aligning what we do, and that's why we concede these opportunities right now.
Obviously, with as many young players as you guys are playing, you're starting a player like KK tonight and relying so much on Allie, who I forget sometimes only in her second year in the league, somehow still. Are there moments where you almost need to kind of remind yourself of like there's only one way to get more experience in the NWSL, and that's for these players to go out and get experience in the NWSL?
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. Obviously, you all want to I want to be the most successful organization. Right. I want this organization to be as successful as we can. But the different ways of doing it, I think right now we can go crazy. We can start doubting about ourselves, or we can actually also see the positive in some things that we're doing. And I think today again, I think Ellie, minute 75, the way she turned out of the contact and she dribbled 3 people. Like that's Ellie. That's what she did. I think that's amazing. So I think. What my general message is yes, we're building. Yes, we definitely are aware of the things that we're not doing well. But I think, in my opinion, we should give ourselves some grace. I think week by week we show ourselves in the second half. So right now, in my opinion, the message is can we start a game fresh, ready, not concede a goal, and then actually get what we deserve in second halves. I think. You have a game of 2 halves today. I think the second half, except for maybe 1 or 2 moments, I don't think North Carolina was that dangerous. And we were kind of under half the whole second half. And I think that's what we have to be doing more. But just in general, the only way, and I've been in this situation with my previous club as well. It's just 365 days each and every time. And if we get those days in the players and we make sure they learn on a daily basis, like, yes, we have a solid foundation. Yes, we'll have a solid foundation. But right now, I think it's just too early to say that there is a foundation already. It's just something that we're building.
I'm sure you don't want to take too many moral victories because moral victories are just that, they're moral only, but can you still take kind of mini victories and kind of stack those into getting better, I guess?
Yeah, and that's also what we have to be focusing on right now. Like, it's easy to come in on Monday and be like, look, here's everything we did wrong. That's not going to help the team. It's more about focusing on, okay, this is a positive, this is what we're taking with us. Can we just work slightly more on this? And I think that's kind of the methodology that we're applying right now. Like, okay, let's work on this because we know we're actually good at it. But let's make sure we get better at this. And I think that's kind of the mix that this group needs right now. And I think they're all moral wins. I think Mina being back is a moral win to the group as well. Like, those are the things that we're taking with us. We know we're getting stronger week by week just by training. And I also think the squad and getting the squad together is also going to help us. So it's that combination and making sure people are coming back, not necessarily to get straight minutes and to be immediately in the game, but just being at practice and making sure that every player get tested at their maximum, and we create the strongest environment for every individual. I think that's what we're chasing for right now.
Go ahead, Sean Moran on the Zoom.
Hey, Coach.
Hi.
We see you trying everything, throwing everything but the kitchen sink into it. This evening we saw a new formation, or a return of a formation. Was that something that was just simply personnel and what you'd been working on? Was it something that spoke to North Carolina being a high possession team? What was the thought going into it with this new formation of it looked like a 4-4-2?
Yeah, it was a 4-4-2. It was playing with two false nines because if you play against a back three, I think it's very hard for them to step. So we were kind of confident bringing two players in between of those spaces that could roam around and then like actually stretch their back line with the two wide wingers. KK was very fast, and I think last week Brecken also showed her quality in the 1v1. So that was kind of the matchup that we needed. That's also what I think in the second half worked pretty well. I think each and every time we were able to go around the block, we were just lacking the people in the box. So I think that's definitely something we'll have to do. Will this be the way that we will be playing next week? That's just a question mark. I think this was a very suitable formation and way of playing against a strong in possession team. But next week you face a team that has a Thompson running on the left or on the right wherever she wants to, but like that's something you have to take into account for that game again. So it's kind of a game by game thing, but we have to make sure we stay true to ourselves. So as much as it was a different formation today, I think a lot of the principles that we're actually applying were kind of still the same, because we just don't want to throw away what we've been doing for the last 7 months and then be panicking. There is a way of playing, the players know it, and we get closer every week.
So, Coach, unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch live and in person, but I watched the second half via the broadcast. And one thing that was evident was the amount of smiles that Mina Tanaka was throwing on the pitch. What did it mean for you to have her back out there? And then was there anything expressed by her in terms of just sheer joy of being ready to be back on the pitch?
I think Mina came back from international camp, and I think the first thing she said after her scan is like, as much as the scan is indicating a tear, I feel fine, I want to play. I think that kind of indicates the type of person Mina is as well. I think Claudia Zonoso right now is kind of the same. Like we can definitely see there is something going on, there is an injury, but like those two are just pushing us or pushing medical staff to be on the pitch. It also shows like how much they want to contribute to the game and to this team. If you're kind of in a bad place and you feel like, okay, everything's not going well, then you push yourself just away from the team. I felt like they were pushing themselves into the team just to be able to help. And if you're talking about a system where you have two false nines, I think Mina is one of the best in the world in playing that role, and I think she's shown that today as well. The number of times we're able to find her on the turn and then actually be dangerous, like I think that changed the second half. So no, we're all happy having Mina back, and I think Mina, her smile is magical to everyone on and around the pitch. So that's definitely something that can help us in the next weeks.
And then feel free to say pass on this, but it gets us hungry to know who's next that's closest. Who can you say, or maybe you don't want to say, but who's next up?
No, like I think it's definitely not my job, and I will not be mad at anyone if it doesn't happen. But I think Alex Luera should be cleared next week. So I think that's kind of the aim. And again, like that's not putting pressure on medical staff. I think everyone's doing their job, and whenever someone comes back, they have to be safe and healthy. I think same with Mina. Like we had to make sure Mina was safe and healthy to come back before she was able to play. So I think Claudia Zonosa, I think Alex Luera should be cleared next week if everything goes well. And I think the week after we should be able to see our captain coming back and Kale eventually. So I think it's quite exciting to get them back. Same with Bianca St. George. It's a bit unclear, a bit more unclear, but I think within the next 3 weeks we should actually have a full squad.
That's awesome. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy. That's it for us tonight. Thank you everyone.